Welcome everyone to our channel. Today's thrilling tale takes you into the heart of Fallen Comet, a hidden city floating deep within a shadowy asteroid belt. Join Corey, a cunning smuggler, and Morona, a mysterious woman whose cosmic bracelets hold secrets that powerful forces desperately crave. When a dangerous misunderstanding accidentally binds them in a forced marriage vow, they're thrust into a desperate flight from the ruthless, shadowless circle. Can they escape the circle's grasp and survive a daring starship battle that will decide their fate? Trust me, the incredible climax at Tyrex Watch will leave you breathless. Listen to the entire story to discover how their unexpected bond shapes their destiny. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to support our channel, and stay tuned for more gripping adventures. Comment below your thoughts, predictions, favorite scenes, and where you're tuning in from. We love hearing your personal insights. Now sit back and enjoy this epic sci-fi romance. Chapter 1: Ghosts of a Shattered Asteroid. No one truly knew how Fallen Comet came to be, an asteroid city drifting through an obscure star system, its interior hollowed out to house smugglers, pirates, and exiles. Over the centuries, people just kept adding modules, docking bays, and neon-splashed corridors until it resembled a ragged chunk of cosmic honeycomb. The city's only constant was chaos. Corey had called Fallen Comet home for about 5 standard years. In his late 20s, perhaps 30, he wasn't sure anymore, since time felt slippery here. Grayish-brown hair perpetually fell into his eyes, and he had the lean look of a pilot who survived on caffeine, adrenaline, and half-legal deals. He specialized in brokering trades, stolen Federation data cubes, exotic weapon prototypes, or contraband relics from distant star systems. So long as it turned a profit, he was game. That day, he lounged on a steel catwalk overlooking the city's main concourse. Below him sprawled a sea of flickering holosigns advertising gene mods, black market stimulants, and shady gambling pits. Dock workers in patched-up suits guided cargo crates. Off-worlders haggled in dozens of languages, while battered droids staggered under heavy loads. The entire place smelled of ozone, stale cooking oil, and tension. Leaning against a metal railing, Corey toyed with a battered data chip between his fingers. He had just sold a piece of Federation topography intel to a silent buyer who vanished too cleanly, leaving him uneasy. In Fallen Comet, easy deals often hinted at bigger trouble looming. But money was money, and he couldn't afford to question it too deeply. A scrawny teen named Tashi, who occasionally ran errands for him, hurried up the catwalk with wide eyes. "Corey, they're looking for you. Some robed aliens. They said they have high-value goods and want to talk about transportation off the station." Corey slid the data chip into a hidden pocket. "Did they mention who they are or who's after them?" "Not a word," Tashi said, chewing his lip, "but they're near Dock 17, looking nervous." Nodding, Corey ruffled the teen's hair. "Good work. Stick around. If anything goes south, I might need you to run a message." He set off through the labyrinth of corridors, passing flickering overhead lights that cast weird shadows on the steel walls. The city's constant hum vibrated underfoot. At Dock 17, he found 3 robed figures who, at first glance, looked like wandering mystics. Their garments carried faint swirling patterns, reminiscent of star fields. As he approached, they whispered among themselves. One stepped forward, a middle-aged woman with gold-flecked eyes and a face etched by worry. "Are you Corey?" "Depends," he replied, crossing his arms warily. "What do you need?" She exchanged glances with her companions. A younger figure clutched her robe tight, and a third hovered protectively behind. "We require discreet passage off Fallen Comet, along with protection. We can pay well." Corey raised an eyebrow. "Protection from what?" "Those who seek our relics," the woman said, voice strained. "We are a displaced clan. Our home was destroyed. Some of us bear Areta stones, which certain crime syndicates might exploit." Before he could probe further, the younger figure peeled her hood back. Morona was no older than her mid-20s, slender, with deep gray eyes. What truly struck him were the 2 dark bands at her wrists, each appearing to be carved from a swirling, obsidian-like material, flecked with tiny pinpoints of light like miniature galaxies. A chill brushed Corey's neck. They reminded him of certain high-tech bracelets used for less benign purposes. Morona spoke quietly, voice trembling. "We have little choice. The shadowless circle hunts for my bracelets. Please, If you can hide us until we arrange safe transit, we'll compensate you with valuables and knowledge. We, we can't remain here much longer. Corey's gut twisted. The shadowless circle was the silent boogeyman behind myriad black market deals, rumored to have eyes everywhere. If these robed folks were their target, harboring them spelled big trouble. But the mention of valuables and knowledge sparked his interest. Perhaps it was lucrative enough to outweigh the risk. All right, he said, keeping his tone neutral. I can stash you somewhere away from prying eyes. Then we'll talk about off-station transport. Just be aware, the comet's no cradle of mercy. If the circle catches wind you're here, it's going to be rough. Morona gave a grateful nod, her eyes brimming with a blend of relief and residual fear. Thank you. He guided them through winding corridors to one of his hidden storage bays. He had used it for storing contraband, like unregistered energy rifles or stolen star maps, but it could double as a makeshift shelter. A single overhead lamp buzzed, revealing crates piled haphazardly, an improvised cot, and vents that hissed recycled air. You can stay, Corey said, gesturing. It's not comfortable, but it's out of the main traffic. If you need to move about, do it quietly and stay hooded. I'll see what I can do about transport in the meantime. The middle-aged woman, introducing herself as Talia, bowed. You have our thanks. Morona remained silent, cradling her robed arms. Corey's gaze flicked to the swirling bracelets at her wrists. Something about them tugged at his conscience. They looked suspiciously like advanced manacles. Are you sure you're not being forced to wear them? He asked carefully. She blinked. No, they are part of our heritage, errata stones, but outsiders often mistake them for slave restraints. And once removed improperly, well, let's just say it's complicated. He let it drop, though curiosity lingered. The flicker of fear in her eyes told him not to pry too deeply yet. The door clanged shut as he left them to settle in, promising to return with supplies. Tashi, waiting outside, shot him a worried look. They seem desperate. Corey nodded. They are, which might mean a big payout for us if we handle it right. Still, an undercurrent of unease haunted him. The name Shadowless Circle carried enough weight to crush entire smuggling rings. He'd have to be smart and fast, because the last thing he wanted was to be on the wrong side of an underworld empire. Chapter 2, Whispers in the Neon Maze. Fallen Comet pulsed with illicit commerce at all hours. Corey threaded through crowds near the main concourse, scanning faces for signs of trouble. Vendors loudly hawked limited edition gene splices or custom-coded AI mods. A synthetic band hammered out bass-heavy music from a half-dilapidated stage. The swirling mass of criminals, drifters, and refugees usually invigorated him. Tonight it made him edgy. He flagged down a contact named Salin, a wiry ex-Federation officer who now fenced stolen goods. I'm looking for a pilot with a hush-hush ship, Corey said, leaning against Salin's kiosk. Something that can slip out of here without raising eyebrows. Salin snorted. What's the cargo? Corey shrugged. People. Need to get them off station quietly. A low whistle. Smuggling people is always dicey, especially if the Shadowless Circle might be sniffing around. Corey's eyes narrowed. Heard anything about that? Salin rolled a toothpick in his mouth. Only rumors that the Circle's placed feelers across Fallen Comet for a special relic. Word is they've sent a few bounty hunters sniffing. If you're messing with that, watch yourself. I'll keep that in mind, Corey muttered, slipping Salin a small bribe for any updates. He continued to a corner bar, neon letters flickering overhead. Inside, dim light revealed an array of seedy patrons hunched over sticky tables. He approached a gruff pilot named Yalim, an older woman with a mechanical forearm. She eyed him suspiciously. You want me to ferry passengers out? That's Federation prisoner transport territory, she grunted. I deal in cargo, not living souls, unless you pay triple. Corey cursed under his breath. Fine, I'll think it over. Maybe I'll find someone else. Yalim shrugged, unbothered. Your call, but I doubt you'll get a cheaper quote. The Circle's rumored involvement jacks up the price. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. If the Shadowless Circle truly sought Morona's bracelets, no pilot on Fallen Comet would risk helping them cheaply. Corey might have to call in old favors or pay a fortune. He returned to the storage bay with the news. Talia and the robed clan members huddled around a small crate. Morona looked up, chewing her lip. Expected it to be costly. We have some heirlooms we can barter, but they hold sentimental value. Corey inclined his head. Let's see if we can find someone more discreet. Meanwhile, keep your heads down. If the circle is searching, they'll scan every corner of the comet soon enough. Morona's voice trembled. We appreciate your help. Truly. He offered a half smile, uneasy. Just business, right? Yet the sincerity in her eyes told him it wasn't merely a transaction for her. The bracelets, the tension in her shoulders, everything about Morona hinted at deeper complexities. He locked the bay door behind him, vowing to do a second round of the station for leads. A threat revealed late that night. While Tashi dozed in a corridor, Corey made his way to an after-hours tech shop run by a rodent-like alien named Sib. Sib specialized in forging ID tags, rewriting cargo manifests, and hacking station logs. Corey tapped a credit sheet on the chip countertop. Need fresh ID sets for 4 or 5 folks, quickly and quietly. Sib's whiskers twitched. Pricey, friend, especially if they must pass partial scans. Double if the circle is sniffing around. I know the drill, Corey said, trying to hide frustration. You do it or not? I do it for half up front. Corey swallowed his annoyance, transferring a chunk of his savings. This was turning into a serious drain on his finances. One more thing. Tell me if you hear of bounties posted. Sib tapped a hollow screen, fiddling with local bulletins. After a moment, he whistled. Look at this. Wanted, Morona, rumored alien relic, 40,000 credit reward. Alive only. Who doesn't say who posted it, but we can guess. Corey's stomach twisted. 40,000? That's a massive bounty. Sib shrugged. Might go up. If I were you, I'd watch your back. By the time Corey stepped outside, a sense of dread gnawed at him. If word spread that Morona was worth that much, half the scum on Fallen Comet would be eager to track her down. He hurried back to the storage bay, only to find the door partially ajar. Adrenaline surged as he drew a small pulse pistol and nudged the door open. Inside, Talia lay bruised on the floor. 2 clan members were unconscious. Morona was gone. What happened? He hissed, rushing to Talia's side. Men with guns stormed in. They took Morona. We tried to fight. Talia croaked. They wanted the bracelets. A wave of cold fury swept Corey. Stay here. I'll find her. He sprinted into the corridors, heart thudding. This was his fault. He had left them vulnerable. Distant footsteps echoed. He followed the trail of scuff marks and half-jammed doors until he reached a deserted docking slip. The whining hum of a small cargo vessel rumbled inside. Gun drawn, Corey slipped through a side hatch. Low light revealed crates stacked against the walls. He heard muffled shouts deeper in the hold. He crept forward and spotted 2 armed thugs wrestling Morona toward a locked cage. Her hood was torn, revealing her panic-stricken face. Hands off! Corey barked, firing a stun bolt at the nearest thug. The man crumpled. The second turned his blaster toward Corey, but Corey dodged behind a crate, returning fire. Sparks ricocheted, scarring the walls. The thug cursed, taking cover. Morona seized the opening. She twisted free, scrambled across the hold, and ducked behind some cargo. Corey launched forward, delivering a swift kick that disarmed the thug. Another stun shot, and the threat was neutralized. Panting, Corey helped Morona to her feet. You okay? She clutched his arms, eyes wild. I think so. They said they'd sell me to the circle. Thank you for coming. He nodded, adrenaline still spiking. We have to go before reinforcements show. A battered sign on the wall suggested the ship belonged to freelance criminals, not necessarily the circle, but that was cold comfort. The bounty was out, and every 2-bit gang in the Comet might take a shot at capturing Morona. They raced back to the storage bay, where Talia and the others remained shaken. Corey knelt beside Talia, pressing a med patch to her bruises. We need to leave now. I'll find a pilot. It's not safe here. Morona's gaze locked with his, gratitude warring with fear. You saved me again. A swirl of guilt and protectiveness churned in Corey. He realized this was no ordinary job. He had taken a personal stake in her fate. Hiding the truth from himself wouldn't help. Yeah, he said. Let's just keep you safe. But the worst was yet to come. Chapter 3, Desperate Departures. Corey bit back a surge of frustration as he hammered on Yalim's battered hull. She finally opened the airlock, scowling. What now? I need immediate takeoff, Corey growled. You said triple fare. Fine, done. Let's get 4 or 5 passengers out of here. Yalim's eyes flickered with suspicion. Gonna cost you, and if the circle is after them, I'm not risking my ship for peanuts. Corey extended a credit stick with a trembling hand. This is most of what I've got. It'll cover the triple fee. Any more I'll owe you once we're safe. She snatched it, scanning. Close enough. Load 'em up. We depart at dawn to avoid the busiest shift changes. Dawn? Corey bit out. We need to go sooner. Yalim's mechanical arm tapped a console. My ship needs repairs and a fresh fuel cell. If I leave now, we might break down mid-transit. That left no choice. Fine. He raced back to gather Morona, Talia, and the others. They spent the night in a cramped sublevel near Yalim's hangar, hearts pounding at every echo. Tashi kept watch at the corridor entrance, reporting any sign of bounty hunters. For hours, tension mounted. Just before the Comet's morning cycle lights flickered on, they crept onto Yalim's ship, the Celestial Raptor, a squat freighter with peeling paint. Talia looked uneasy, but boarding was their best shot. Stow your gear in the rear hold, Yalim barked, prepping the cockpit. No wandering around. If we're stopped, you're spare crew. Got it? Corey settled by the cockpit door, scanning the corridor outside for last-minute threats. Morona hovered at his side, face wan with anxiety. I can't thank you enough for all this, Corey. He forced a smile. Let's just get off the Comet alive. Engines rumbled to life, rattling the deck plates. Yalim nudged the thrusters, detaching from the docking clamps. A shudder coursed through the hull as the freighter rose into the Comet's hollow interior. Then, with a final burst of power, it glided out an airlock tunnel into the star-flecked void. A relief swelled in Corey until a flash of alarm signaled on Yalim's console. Pulse scans from behind, she snarled. Ships on intercept vector. We've got trouble? He peered at the readout. 2 small craft had launched from another Comet hangar, presumably bounty hunters or circle agents. They raced closer, weapons powering. Brace yourselves, Yalim shouted. She slammed the throttle forward, weaving away from the arcs of laser fire. The Raptor's shields flickered under glancing hits, the hull rattling ominously. Talia clutched a seat, her companions crying out. Corey's chest constricted. Was it all over so soon? But Yalim was a skilled pilot. She angled the ship behind a chunk of drifting debris, using it as cover to break line of sight. By the time the pursuers cleared the obstacle, the Raptor's engines roared to full burn, leaving them behind in a swirl of iron particles. A final volley of laser blasts grazed the ship's flank before they hit FTL, starfields stretching into luminous lines. Tension flooded out in a collective sigh. They had escaped fallen Comet, but at what cost? Temporary respite. Once in hyperspace, Yalim glowered at Corey. You nearly got me shot down. Next time, pay for better hush lift or warn me about heavily armed pursuers. Sorry, he muttered. You'll get the rest of your hazard fee if we make it to a safe port. She rolled her eyes. I'll drop you at an outpost called Caro Station in 2 standard days. That's all I'm promising. They had no choice. As the ship cruised through the shimmering corridor of FTL, Talia helped bandage minor injuries from the scuffle, while Morona sank onto a crate, exhaustion etched on her face. Corey eased beside her. You all right? She nodded numbly. Just drained, leaving our last refuge behind and still being hunted. I can't help feeling guilt. My bracelets bring danger to everyone around me. His gaze lingered on the swirling cosmic pattern in the stone. Why do they want these so badly? Morona's voice dropped to a whisper. According to legend, the errata stones hold genetic data for future generations. They were once worn by clan heirs, ensuring bloodlines and heritage remain stable through calamities. That data in the wrong hands could create powerful clones or gene weapons. Corey sighed. So the Shadowless Circle sees an opportunity to profit from your DNA? And they won't stop until they have the bracelets. Well, she nodded, a tear escaping. I never asked for this burden, but it's part of who I am, my father. He said these stones connect us to our ancestors' spirits, yet now they feel like a curse. Despite his mercenary instincts, Corey felt a protective pang. He gently laid a hand on hers. We'll figure something out. Until then, let's keep you safe and keep those stones out of the Circle's grasp. Her eyes shone with gratitude. Thank you, Corey. You've already done so much. He squeezed her hand and rose to help Talia organize a small cabin. The vow idea Talia had mentioned, if the bracelets were forcibly cut off, it meant a forced claim. That tidbit gnawed at him, though he shrugged it off as a rare scenario. Little did he know how soon fate would test that vow. Chapter 4 storms on Caro Station. 2 days later, the Celestial Raptor exited hyperspace near a dusty, rust-colored planet ringed by debris. Caro Station was a ramshackle settlement perched on the planet's surface, ringed by tall sensor masts and a few battered landing pads. Yalim guided the ship down, the atmospheric thrusters whining. "We're here," she grunted over the comm. "Off you go. I'm not sticking around." Corey eyed the bleak landscape as the hatch opened. Hot, gritty wind slapped his face. Talia led her group onto the dusty ground. Morona paused at the threshold, glancing back at Yalim. "Thank you for the flight." Yalim shrugged, scanning the horizon warily. "Just pay me the rest." Corey transferred another chunk of credits from his data ledger. The ship's engines hummed impatiently. Before they could properly disembark, Yalim sealed the hatch and powered up. Moments later, the Raptor roared skyward, leaving them in a swirl of dust. Talia sighed. "We're on our own." Caro Station was hardly welcoming, a few prefab shelters connected by covered walkways, mostly inhabited by prospectors and unsavory drifters. Rudimentary turrets lined the perimeter, presumably to deter raiders. The local atmosphere tasted metallic, forcing them to wear light-breathing filters if they stayed outside too long. They stumbled into the largest structure, a dim inn called the Dusty Quasar, where a bored droid manned the reception. Corey rented 2 small rooms with meager funds, and they crammed inside. The walls vibrated with the hum of the station's old generators. "We have no pilot," Talia lamented, sinking onto a rickety bunk. "We'll need new transport eventually." Morona hugged her robes. "Is this planet safe from the circle?" Corey grimaced. "Nowhere is truly safe. The best we can do is keep our heads down until we find another ride." Over the next day, Tashi and Corey discreetly explored the settlement. Rumors drifted that the Shadowless Circle had posted an official bounty, 50,000 credits for Morona's capture. Fear prickled Corey's spine. That was a life-changing sum for most denizens here. One evening, while Talia tried to contact old acquaintances through a shaky comm relay, Corey and Morona left the inn for fresh air, if the station's dust-laden breeze counted as fresh. They perched on a low wall near a half-functional power generator, scanning the horizon of rocky dunes. Morona inhaled shakily. "I can't stop wondering, will we ever find a real sanctuary? My clan's scattered, my father is gone. All we have left is the partial network of survivors and these cursed bracelets." Corey set a hand on her shoulder. "There must be a place beyond the circle's reach, or a way to neutralize their interest." She hesitated. "Some say a special mystic can dissolve the vow tied to our stones or hide the genetic data. But I don't know if that's just legend." His brow furrowed. "If we found that mystic, maybe we could sever the stone's link to you. Then you'd be free, right?" Morona gave a faint, sad smile. "In theory, but I'd lose part of my heritage. We have to weigh that cost." A clang from the station's far side drew their attention. They turned to see a group of scruffy men loitering, staring in their direction. One lifted a handheld device, likely scanning for identity signals. Corey's instincts screamed trouble. "Let's get back inside," he muttered, guiding Morona quickly. They ducked into a side corridor leading to the inn. A door hissed open. Abruptly, 4 armed figures blocked their path, brandishing cheap blasters. Their leader sneered, sporting a jagged face tattoo. "Got a tip about a high-value target," he growled. "Hand her over quietly, and maybe I won't kill you." Morona's face went pale. Corey moved to shield her. "Touch her, and you'll regret it." The man cackled. "Tough talk from a no-name smuggler. We know that bracelet's worth a fortune." They lunged forward. Corey whipped out his sidearm, firing a stun blast that dropped one attacker. Another locked arms with him, wrestling for control. Morona dodged behind a crate, heart pounding. In the chaos, the leader spotted her. He raised a crowbar-like device, aiming to hook her arm. She let out a cry, trying to scramble away. Corey, pinned by an attacker, saw her in peril. Without thinking, he flipped the attacker over his shoulder, seized a small multi-tool from his belt, and lunged for the leader. The man was grappling Morona's left bracelet, trying to pry it off. A terrifying beep indicated a tool designed to sever advanced materials. Her wide eyes shone with panic. Desperation seized Corey. He swung the multi-tool, slicing across the metal hooking the bracelet. The device sparked. Morona's left errata stone tore free with an electric sizzle clattering to the floor. A surge of strange energy exploded outward, knocking the leader back into the corridor wall. Morona gasped, stumbling away from the severed bracelet, pain contorting her features. Corey slammed a stun bolt into the leader before he could recover. Heart pounding, Corey grabbed Morona's wrist. The stone had left a raw patch. She stared at him with utter shock. You cut it off, she managed, voice shaking. I had to, he panted. He was about to. She shook her head, tears brimming. You don't understand. Under my people's law, forcibly removing an errata stone is a vow claim. Like a forced marriage. He froze, mind reeling. Marriage? Wait. Before either could say more, the last attacker stood, lunging. Corey whirled, firing another stun shot. The corridor fell silent. The men sprawled, unconscious. Tashi raced up from behind, eyes wide. What happened? Morona cradled her bare wrist, the stone lying in two halves on the floor. He saved me, but destroyed my band. Corey's throat felt tight, awareness dawning of the cosmic implications. Let's get you out of here first. They rushed back to the inn. Talia's horror grew when she saw the broken stone. You realize what you've done, Corey? She whispered. In our clan's traditions, that is a sealed vow. If you do not fulfill it, Morona is shamed forever. If you do fulfill it, then you two are bonded as husband and wife. Corey's face paled. I didn't intend to claim anything. I was just trying to protect her. Morona's tears spilled. I know, but the vow stands. Corey's mind whirled. He had never believed in cosmic curses or archaic traditions, yet the raw anguish in her eyes tore at him. The vow was real to her clan. He'd either marry this woman he barely knew, or condemn her, and the second bracelet remained glimmering ominously. They'll keep coming for you, he finally said, voice hoarse. Bracelet or no bracelet, we need to find a place, someone who can fix or dissolve this vow, and soon. Talia nodded. A mystic is said to roam near the Tyrex watch sector, able to confirm or sever forced vows. If we reach her, we might rectify this. Or you accept the vow. Either way, at least Morona's honor remains intact. Morona bowed her head, tears hitting the dusty floor. Corey's heart twisted. He wanted to comfort her, but the moment felt impossibly heavy. Tashi stood silent, face ashen with the knowledge that their escape plan had just escalated into a cultural crisis. We'll leave for Tyrex watch, Corey said at last, swallowing thickly. We'll do whatever it takes. No one noticed the faint flicker of activity on a small device left behind by their attackers, a hidden tracker that would soon broadcast Morona's location to the highest bidder. Chapter 5. Unstable Alliances. Desperate to flee Cairo Station, the group bribed a rough-edged pilot named Tara Quaid who flew a freighter called Thunderchild. Tara demanded nearly all the clan's remaining valuables, plus Corey's battered starship, parked in Fallen Comet's archives, as collateral. He cursed the cost, but had no choice. By dawn, they boarded the Thunderchild. Tara's mechanical right hand clicked ominously as she took the cockpit, powering up thrusters. Destination? Tyrex Watch, she repeated. That's a grim place. Hope you know what you're getting into. Talia and the clan gathered in the cargo hold. Morona sat in a corner, half lost in silent turmoil, a bandage covering her raw wrist. She still wore the second errata stone on the other. The destroyed one lay in a small pouch, the shards still crackling faintly with the residual energy. Corey slipped into the hold, heart heavy. He'd spent a restless night grappling with the bizarre new reality. He and Morona exchanged a glance thick with unspoken tensions. I'm sorry, he murmured, kneeling beside her. I know it wasn't your choice any more than mine. We'll fix this vow somehow, once we find that mystic. She sniffled, wiping away tears. I know you didn't mean to break my stone or force the vow, but our laws don't care about intent. If the vow isn't upheld or properly dissolved, my clan's traditions say I'm forever disgraced. I can't bear that shame. Corey's chest tightened. Then we'll do the proper ceremony, or the severance, whatever you choose. I don't want to ruin your life. Her eyes flicked up, searching his. This forced vow feels unreal, yet you've been kinder to me than anyone besides my family. Thank you. He gently touched her uninjured wrist. In that moment, a strange swirl of sympathy and maybe something deeper stirred within him. Before he could dwell on it, a voice crackled over the loudspeaker. "Strap in back there," Tira growled. "We're taking off." The Thunderchild blasted off Caro's dusty surface, swiftly leaping into FTL. The corridor of streaking stars enveloped them. Talia exhaled in relief while Tashi flopped onto a crate, tension draining. But a beep from the cockpit drew concern. Tira cursed. "Small vessel behind us. Tracking signature. Must have latched on right after we launched." Corey swore. "A tracer? Those bounty hunters at Caro must have hidden a beacon on us. Now the Circle or someone else might intercept." Sure enough, Tira fiddled with the sensors. "They can't match my max speed, but they might signal ahead. This route to Tyrex Watch is known for pirate activity." A hush fell. Each of them realized the danger hadn't lifted. They might face an ambush at any drop from FTL. Between stars, in the day-long journey, the clan alternated between anxious rest and whispered planning. Talia watched over a near-silent Morona, who toyed with the shards of her broken stone. Corey tried to keep morale up, discussing strategies with Tashi for how to slip past future pirates. But late one night cycle aboard the Thunderchild, Corey found himself near the cargo hold's ventilation, listening to Morona quietly confide in Talia. "I'm torn," she was saying. "Corey is so protective and honest. Part of me wonders if, should the vow remain? Is it truly forced if I want him? But that's foolish, right?" Talia's voice was gentle. "Not foolish. He risked his life for you more than once. But remember, this vow was never meant to be accidental. He may feel obliged, not truly free." Morona's sigh resonated with heartbreak. "I don't want him chained to me out of guilt." Hearing that, Corey's throat constricted. He quietly left, torn by the same question. Was he ready to bind his life to someone he'd known only briefly? Or was the vow just a cultural relic he'd fix out of obligation? The corridor lights flickered as Tira announced they'd drop from FTL soon to navigate a dense asteroid field. Everyone braced for the possibility of pirates or bounty hunters intercepting. Anxiety spiked. When the star tunnel dissolved, they found themselves drifting amid a cluster of tumbling rocks. Tara carefully steered through, scanning for threats. Then a harsh beep rung out. "Incoming vessel," Tira barked, heavily armed, broadcasting an ultimatum. "Surrender or be boarded." Corey strapped in, adrenaline spiking. "Shadowless Circle?" Tira frowned at the readouts. "No official ID, but probably a pirate crew that got word about that bounty. They want Morona." Morona's face paled. Corey clenched his fists. "We can't let them board. We run or fight." Tara angled the Thunderchild behind a large asteroid, flipping systems to combat mode. "Hold on," she growled, slamming the thrusters. They shot forward, weaving between spinning rocks as laser fire streaked past. In the cargo hold, Talia and the clan huddled. Tashi clung to a rail, wide-eyed. The hull shook under near misses. Corey shouted for Morona to take cover, stepping between her and the nearest airlock door in case of a breach. The pirate vessel maneuvered skillfully, blasting chunks of asteroid. A few glancing hits rattled the Thunderchild, scorching the outer hull. Tara cursed, rerouting power to shields. "We can't keep this up." Corey grit his teeth, ducking into the cockpit area. "If we get one good burn, can we outrun them into FTL?" She glared. "Charging the drive will take precious seconds. They'll pound us." Still, there was no other choice. "Do it. I'll help man the turret." Switching a cockpit feed to manual turret control, Corey swiveled crosshairs on the pirate ship, unleashing pulses of energy. He clipped one of their thrusters, sending them spinning briefly. In that window, Tira rerouted power to the hyperdrive. The Thunderchild quivered under the strain. "Brace!" Tira yelled, hitting the jump. The starfield elongated once more. A final laser blast hammered their aft plating, but then they were gone, slipping into the safety of FTL. The battered ship rattled ominously, but it held together. Breathless relief swept through the cabin. Talia, trembling, thanked the stars they'd survived. Morona sagged against the bulkhead, tears in her eyes. Corey joined her, heart still pounding. "You okay?" he murmured, brushing a hand over her shoulder. She nodded, letting out a shaky laugh. Yes, thanks to you all. Their gazes met, a silent current passing between them. For a moment, the vow's complications dissolved under the raw gratitude of survival. Then Tira's voice cut in. Next stop, Tyrex Watch. Let's hope that place is less hostile than it sounds. Given their luck so far, Corey wasn't holding his breath. Chapter 6, the mysterious mystic Tyrex Watch loomed ahead, a shadowy planet wreathed in swirling black storms. The Thunderchild emerged from FTL near an orbital ring of battered satellites. Terra muttered curses about the planet's chaotic weather patterns. Landing's going to be rough, she warned. Despite swirling turbulence, she guided the freighter through a break in the thick, roiling clouds. Below lay jagged canyons, occasional outposts built into the rock walls. Rumor said Tyrex Watch was a haven for wanderers who sought spiritual reclusion or esoteric knowledge. If a vow-severing mystic dwelled anywhere, this was a likely spot. The ship touched down on a windswept plateau where a small settlement, Haven's Bluff, perched precariously. Terra extended the ramp, glancing at Corey. This is as far as I go. Fix your vow or do whatever you need, but I'm leaving in 3 days. If you're not back, I'm gone. Corey nodded. He had no illusions about Terra's loyalty. She'd done her job. Talia and the clan disembarked, shielding their faces from biting wind. The thin, cold air forced them to wear filtered respirators. A lone figure approached, a gray-haired woman draped in layered robes, her posture poised like someone who'd seen many trials. She introduced herself as Celira. Travelers from the stars? This plateau rarely sees visitors unless they seek the old ways. Morona, guided by Talia, stepped forward, carefully revealing her damaged left wrist in the shards of the broken Errata stone. Her voice trembled. We heard rumors of a mystic here who can confirm or dissolve a forced vow. Celira's eyes flickered with recognition. I am that mystic. The right of decision is the ritual you speak of. Huddled around a rock outcropping to shield from the wind, Celira listened as Talia recounted the forced cutting of the stone. She examined the shards, her face etched with sympathy. A vow was triggered indeed. To preserve Morona's honor, you must either accept the union willingly or have it nullified through the rite. Corey swallowed. So, if we do this right, what happens? Celira's voice was gentle yet firm. You both speak your truths. If you choose each other freely, the vow becomes a proper union in your clan's tradition. If you both reject it, I can sever the vow's energy, but it requires absolute honesty. Any deceit can provoke a backlash. Some have been hurt. Morona's tears glinted in the harsh light. And if we sever it, I remain part of the clan. Celira's lips thinned. Severing forcibly cut stones can cost you your hereditary claims, but you won't be outcast. You will remain recognized, though that brace is destroyed. Talia placed a hand on Morona's shoulder. At least you can move forward without disgrace. Or if Corey truly desires to keep the vow, you can finalize it. Corey's heart pounded. This was a life-altering choice. Did he truly want to commit to a stranger, albeit a brave, gentle one who had suffered so much? On the other hand, letting her down stung him deeply. Morona's eyes found his, shimmering with uncertainty. What do you want, Corey? He inhaled slowly, hearing the howling wind. Let's perform the rite. Then we'll see if we belong together or not. She nodded, relief and dread mingling. Celira beckoned them to follow her to a secluded cavern near the plateau's edge, candles and runic markings indicating it served as a sacred space. Talia, Tashi, and the clan followed quietly, while Terra remained back at the ship to manage repairs. The rite prepares. Inside the cavern, Celira lit small torches that flickered across ancient carvings. She produced a shallow stone basin, placing the broken shards of Morona's band inside. Then she asked Corey and Morona to stand opposite each other. Kneel, she directed gently. Place your hands over the shards, left and right. They obeyed, the chill stone pressing against their palms. Celira chanted in a low, resonant tone, the air thrumming with subtle energy. Candlelight danced on the walls, casting shifting shadows. You, Corey, Celira intoned. Why did you cut the errata stone? Speak your heart. His throat constricted. I only wanted to save her from kidnappers. I didn't intend to claim anything. But since then, I've realized how much I care for her well-being. I might even love her spirit, her resilience. I'm willing to stand by her if she wishes it. A faint glow sparked in the shards. Celera turned to Morona. And you, child of the clan, how do you see him? Morona's eyes brimmed. At first, it was terror, a forced vow that could ruin me. But Corey's kindness, his courage, I found myself drawn to him. Despite the chaos, he's proven he'd risk his life for me. I want to honor that, but I fear binding him if he doesn't truly want me. A second glow flared, merging with the first. Celera pressed a hand to each of their shoulders. If you two choose each other, speak it. If not, speak your wish for release. The right demands honesty. Time seemed to freeze. Corey's heart hammered, images flashing of how he met Morona, how he rescued her, how he felt protective in a way he'd never known. He glanced into her tearful gray eyes, feeling a surge of tenderness and clarity. I choose you, he breathed, voice shaking. Not from obligation, but because I want to see where this bond takes us. Morona inhaled, relief and joy shimmering on her face. I choose you as well, willingly. A brilliant glow burst from the shards, washing the cavern in ethereal light. Celera's chanting rose, weaving around them. Talia and the others watched in awe. A final surge crackled through the air, then dissipated, leaving the cavern hushed. Celera smiled gently, lifting the shards from the basin. The vow stands, no longer forced, but freely embraced. You are wed in your clan's eyes. Morona stumbled into Corey's arms, tears rolling down her cheeks. He held her tightly, overwhelmed by the surreal reality. He had just married an alien woman under a tradition he barely understood, yet it felt deeply right. Talia quietly wept with relief, hugging them both. After a moment, Celera's voice broke through the emotion. This union may bring new threats. The circle will not stop hunting the stone you still carry. But your hearts are united. They nodded, hands intertwined. Whatever awaited them outside, a battered galaxy full of bounty hunters and syndicates, they would face together. Chapter 7. Forged by fire, that evening, Celera insisted they stay in the settlement to rest after the rite. Talia cooked a humble meal using local provisions, and the clan members finally relaxed. Tashi teased Corey about being a married man, trying to lighten the mood. Morona glowed with a mixture of shyness and contentment, occasionally brushing her new husband's arm, as if testing the reality of their bond. Despite the uncertain future, a warmth surrounded them. But not all was peaceful. Unbeknownst to them, the hidden tracker that once broadcast from Caro Station had eventually drawn the shadowless circle to Tyrex watch. Out in the planet's stormy atmosphere, a sleek frigate hovered, scanning for errata stone readings. By morning, Terraquade marched into Celera's settlement, brandishing a handheld scanner. Bad news, folks. I'm picking up inbound craft, likely Circle or mercenaries. If we don't lift off soon, we'll be pinned. Corey exchanged a grim look with Morona. We can't keep running forever, but if they have a frigate, we're outgunned. Talia frowned. Our clan is too scattered to fight a syndicate like the Circle. Unless we unify more survivors, we can't stand up to them directly. Morona gripped her remaining bracelet. Perhaps we can't fight them head on, but we can't let them keep chasing us across the stars. If there's a safe place, some remote colony or allied clan, I want to find it. Celera spoke up. Rumor says a handful of Jaran families still hold out in the Hajian Belt. If you gather them, you could build a new haven out of the Circle's grasp. Corey nodded slowly. We can gather allies, maybe old smuggling friends who hate the Circle's tyranny too. He glanced at Tashi. Kid, you up for more running? Tashi smirked. Do I have a choice? They hastily packed, hugging Celera farewell. The mystic pressed Morona's hands warmly. Blessings on your union. May you stand strong. Yeah. She then locked eyes with Corey. Protect each other well. They rushed back to the plateau where the Thunderchild sat, engines idling. Tira tapped her foot impatiently. We've got movement on scanners, some smaller ships dropping below the cloud layer. We need to go now. Just as they boarded, a swirl of dust storm revealed two fighter craft skimming overhead. The Circle's insignia, a black ring, was faintly visible on their hulls. Alarms shrilled inside the Thunderchild. Corey slammed the hatch. Everyone strap in, he shouted, ushering Talia, Morona, and the others into seats. Terra lifted off, thrusters roaring, while the fighters banked around for an attack run. Laser blasts scorched the rocky plateau, showering them with debris. Tara cursed, jinking the ship away. "They're faster than me. We need a diversion to jump." Morona clutched Corey's arm, the Valbon thrumming in her thoughts. He gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. "Stay buckled. I'll man the turret." He dashed to the turret console, coaxing a shaky power feed. The crosshairs locked onto one fighter weaving dangerously close. He fired pulses of ion blasts, forcing it to break off. Meanwhile, Tara angled up into the swirling black clouds, lightning flickering around the hull. The second fighter hammered their aft shields, warning lights erupting on the console. Oh, Talia gasped as power flickered. Tashi tried to help reroute systems, but the damage was serious. Tara shouted over comms, "We'll never make an FTL jump in this storm if they keep hitting our engines." A resolve flared in Corey. "One last shot. Tara, climb near that big storm cell. The lightning might scramble them." The pilot complied, steering the Thunderchild dangerously close to a spiraling vortex of black thunderclouds. Lightning crackled around them, causing the screens to flicker. The pursuing fighters hesitated, trying not to get fried by raw atmospheric discharges. That moment of hesitation let Corey line up a perfect ion volley. He struck the lead fighter's engine arrière, sending it careening, trailing smoke. The second fighter, spooked by the near-constant lightning, veered off. Tara seized the chance, punching the engines. They soared higher, clearing the storm. The battered freighter roared free of Tyrex Watch's gravity well. In space, Tara spooled the hyperdrive. With a deafening hum, they leapt into FTL, leaving the pursuing ships behind. As adrenaline ebbed, Corey collapsed onto a seat, panting. Morona unbuckled and rushed to him. Kneeling by his side, she pressed her forehead to his. "You did it," she whispered. "Thank you." He held her close, a swirl of relief and triumph. They were battered, but still alive. And now, with the vow sealed, they possessed a new sense of unity. The circle might keep chasing them, but for the first time they had a plan. Rally the scattered Jaren clan and gather allies. Talia joined them, tears in her eyes. "We move forward together. A new path for our people. And for you too." She smiled at Corey, an air of acceptance in her gaze. He glanced at Morona's remaining bracelet, shining faintly with swirling star patterns. The destroyed half was gone, but their bond was real, and they carried it into an uncertain future. Chapter 8, A New Dawn Among the Stars. The Thunderchild drifted through the calm of post-jump space, engines cooling. Tara, still stinging from the near fiasco, announced they'd need repairs. She steered them toward a less-traveled trade route, where a makeshift station offered emergency docking. Inside the cargo area, Corey and Morona settled on a crate, exhaustion etched in their faces. Talia and the clan quietly discussed the next steps. Tashi rummaged for snacks, handing some to everyone with a forced grin. Corey laced his fingers with Morona's, tension dissolving into a sense of peace. "We made it this far," he murmured. "Whatever happens now, I'm with you." Her eyes filled with gratitude and something deeper. "And I with you, husband." The word felt new and strange on her tongue, but not unwelcome. He pressed a tender kiss to her forehead. She leaned into him, letting out a soft sigh. Talia approached, respect evident in her posture. "We'll find a refuge, gather more survivors, and ensure the Circle can't easily exploit our heritage. But the journey is long." Morona nodded. "We have the vow, we have each other, and we have hope." Corey exhaled, gazing through a viewport at the swirling cosmos. Once he'd have balked at the idea of marriage, especially a forced one. Yet the swirl of events had led him to a remarkable partner, forging trust in the crucible of danger. Now he was prepared to fight for more than just profit or survival. He'd fight for her clan's future, too. When the station's docking protocols engaged, Tara guided the ship in. They'd restock, repair, and continue. The shadowless circle might lurk behind every star, but Corey felt ready. He glanced at Morona's luminous bracelet and smiled inwardly. Their vow was no longer an accident. It was a choice to stand together, come what may. Chapter 9. Epilogue. Light in the Void. Within a small outpost bar on that emergency station, Corey and Morona sat at a corner table nursing lukewarm tea. Tashi scanned the crowd for potential threats, while Talia bartered for ship parts. The air smelled of stale metal and cleaning fluid. It was far from a romantic hideaway, but they savored the quiet moment. Morona gently touched her single remaining Erida stone. Sometimes I mourn the one that was destroyed, she admitted. It connected me to generations of my people, but I also accept that it led us to this bond. Corey brushed a fingertip over her wrist. I'm sorry you lost it, but I can't regret saving your life. And, well, it brought me to you. She smiled softly, tears bright. Yes, I'd choose you again. He kissed her knuckles, heart warm. I'd choose you 1,000 times. Then he cleared his throat, glancing at their battered starship moored outside. We'll keep moving, rallying your clan or forging a new home. The circle might not stop, but we'll be ready. From the adjacent table, Talia overheard, a fond grin lighting her features. The vow is real, your union sealed. Our next steps are uncertain, but not hopeless. Morona laced her fingers with Corey's, a quiet determination shining in her eyes. Together, we'll shape a future where these stones are more than a prize for syndicates, a future where our clan can rebuild, and we can truly live in peace. In the station's flickering lights, they rose, shoulders pressed together. Tashi bounded over with a confident nod. Engine repairs almost done. Are we off? Corey laughed. Yeah, let's get going. Adventure beckons. They walked out, stepping into the cramped docking bay. The lines of the Thunderchild glinted under overhead lamps. Tara finished adjusting an external plate, calling out, Strap in, everyone. Our next jump might be bumpy. Then again, it always is. Morona took one last look around, inhaling the musty station air. She grasped Corey's hand, and with a shared smile, they strode up the ramp. The hull sealed behind them with a clang. As the engines roared to life, Morona and Corey settled side by side, bracing for the hum of liftoff. Talia and the clan found seats, resolute yet hopeful. Tashi practically vibrated with excitement. Soon the stars would envelop them once more. In that moment, with the vow shining in the half-light, they embraced an uncharted road ahead. Yes, the galaxy teemed with pirates, shadowy syndicates, and lurking dangers. But it also held wonders unimaginable, new alliances, and the promise of forging an entire clan's renewed legacy. And as the Thunderchild soared from the station into the infinite black, Corey felt a deep, abiding certainty that, despite how it began, his and Morona's union was the real thing. Through cosmic misunderstandings, narrow escapes, and forced vows, they had found each other. Together, they would greet whatever dawn awaited among the stars. And there you have it, the breathtaking journey of Corey and Morona, bound together by fate, choice, and the legacy of the Errata stones. Did you enjoy the thrilling escape, the high-stakes confrontations, and the romantic spark that grew amidst chaos? We want to hear your personal thoughts down in the comments below. Did Corey make the right decision during the rite of decision? Would you have handled it differently? Let's get a lively discussion going. And remember, every like, comment, and subscription fuels our mission to bring you even more gripping, galaxy-spanning tales. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss another exciting story. Tell us where you're listening from. We love connecting with viewers all across the universe. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your heart ready for adventure. Thanks for joining us, and see you soon.